we go. What's up, everybody? I don't even know what month it is. May 1st. May 1st is the May show. We got a couple awesome guests today. Shihan John Busto. What can I say? If you guys don't know John Busto, I can't wait for you guys to check him out. This guy is spectacular. And, let's go to this too. And let's talk about our second guest. Anto's here today. I don't know if you guys know Anto. I can tell you, I was watching this dude on a technique line. His Kenpo is spectacular. Now, today, the technique is grip of death, okay? And we picked grip of death because there's a lot of, let's say, ground implications in grip of death. And I know Mr. Busto does a lot of training with Bart Vale. Way cool. And 5.0, we know 5.0 incorporates a lot of ground stuff. So let's see what we have going there. All right, our first guest today is coming, or our first presenter today. You guys all know him and love him, full of energy, from Dartmouth, Massachusetts, Mr. Dan Donfro.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mack. So, grip of death. I want to cover a couple of things on grip of death. We only got a couple of minutes here, so we got to make it quick. I want to look at one aspect of the positions and the foot maneuvers on the extension, and then we're just going to go into one little thing on the application. So the base technique, the way I learned the technique is, stepping up into the close kneel stance to check the knee, hammer fist, the groin, and the kidney, coming up over the shoulder. Now, this move under the nose, I've had this done on me, and it works excellent. And it hurts, but I worked as a doorman at a nightclub, and you learn never put your hands near anybody's mouth. I've seen guys get bitten, guys that I've worked with, and it's never pretty. So I try to stay away from this. As well as it works, it's just a little too close. So I like to come with the back of the hand under the chin. You get nice leverage there, pow, and then you can go right in for the palm heel. So the base technique, grip of death, 1, 2, and then palm heel, and we end it with a front kick. All right, so the extension now, what's that? You want to do base? Sure. Well, I'll grab Laura. She'll do the base technique. So there it is, grip of death against the side headlock. All right, now, let's just get a quick look at the extension. I'll have you do it on Brighton. So the extension has the series of leg sweeps here. There's 1 and 2, and then scoop it on out. So that's what I want to look at first. So I'll have Laura go here. Brightman, come right over here. Let me see if I can see you guys. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so Laura, do grip of death, just the base. All right, now Brightman, I'm going to have Brightman do scraping hoof, just the base. There it is. And now extension. All right, so back it up. How about Laura? Let's face Brightman, face that way. So again, grip of death, scraping hoof, extensions. I think that's really cool how that works. So face this way. Ready, grip of death, scraping hoof, extensions. There it is. And what the heck? Let's go one more time that way. Ready, grip of death. Scraping hoof, and the extensions. There it is. One thing I always thought was super cool about that is that the scraping hoof extension is done from the front, and as opposed to grip of death being done from the back. All right, and then they're opposites. So you're doing the opposite side of the body, and one is the kick sweep into the buckle, and the other's a buckle into a little kick sweep. So I always found that pretty wild. I like that kind of stuff. So now looking at the actual technique in terms of application, this is almost the same move that I had done the week that we did Brushing the Storm. Because you find yourself on Brushing the Storm, I'm in this position where I'm inside and outside, this arm at the same time. So grip of death now. I'm in the headlock here, bam, and now look at this. I can fire a knee to weaken them up a little bit, but I have them right here, and I can just force them right down. And then you just got all kinds of work that you can do from here. So bring it back up. So let's go this way. So here, bam, here, and then right here by the shoulder, straight down, bam, and there it is. All right, so one more time, I just wanted to get a good look at this because this is actually a really good move. So grab here, here, and then it's just right on top of the shoulder, straight down. And we were trying to resist that, and when you try to resist that, the shoulder's just going to go. It's really hard to get out of that. When somebody starts just draping their body weight and pushing straight down, that works like a charm. So for grip of death, there we have it. And I guess we'll send that back over to you, Dan.
You know what I love? It's like so high energy always and so positive, and they just beat each other up. You gotta love that. Thank you, Dan Donfro and crew. Moving right along. Apparently he's from an undisclosed location today. My partner in crime, Mr. Brian Saul.
I cannot tell you where I am, where my location is, but I am nowhere near Angelo in his undisclosed location. So, what's up, everyone? Good to see everyone. Happy May to you. Thank you to our guests for joining us today. We're going to talk grip of death. So I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I promise you there is a grip of death lesson in this. So I'm going to speak fast because I only have 5 minutes here. I have an older brother. He's a little older than a little more than 2 years, a little under 2 years older than me. Growing up, he and I, like boys growing up, we wrestled and fought and threw punches and been in more headlocks than I can count. And I like to attribute, I'm going to say, some of my grappling experience, I don't want to throw too much credit his way, to my older brother. Now, to his benefit, he was much bigger than me. He was much bigger than me. He was a walk-on lineman for Maryland back in the day. So clearly he had size and strength on me. And, you know, I would say a headlock from him was a regular occurrence. And so, you know, I started, you know, this whole trial and error thing growing up. What's going to work and what's not going to work against him. And lo and behold, a few years later, I start watching YouTube videos, and it's usually the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. And I'm going, hey, that's what I used to do, just from trial and error. So I'm going to give you some things to think about. So grip of death, we always talk about you don't want to wait until they cinch this thing on, right? You want to be responding when the arm gets there. So that's the piece that I want to talk about. I got pretty good at this actually with my brother. It got to the point where, you know, I'm walking around a little suspicious, but by the time his arm was up, I would usually almost lock my posture up just to immediately give that resistance. I'll lock my posture up. And so here's the trial and error thing. I went, all right, cool. I provided some resistance to the arm going around me. What was the first thing that happened? The other arm came around, he locked it in for me. All right. Trial number one, failure. So now, not only do I need to deal with this arm, I need to deal with that other hand coming in and open it up. All right, so what did that eventually turn into? I locked the posture there for that arm, then I would immediately wrap. I would wrap him and lock that arm because I didn't want that arm cinching onto the grip and bringing me down, so I got to get my gripping talon on. So we're talking about, you know, if you can do this before you even need to do that. So what was the next thing? All right, so I got that. He's still stronger than me. At the end of the day, I lost that trial too. He was stronger than me. So I said, all right, I need to figure out something better to do. So I would lock the posture. I would wrap him up. Now, what I would do is I was working on that arm, that far arm. I didn't want him to cinch that. So I started hanging on to that arm here and at the wrist. Okay. Again, stalemate. He's going to win that if I just stay here. So I got to the point where I would lock the posture, I would wrap, and I'd immediately put my arm through the loop of his arm and lock it. Now I got his arm locked. I'm fighting this, and now I can start throwing all the punches that I want, or get into some other different takedown. But from there, you got a lot of options, right? You can dip underneath, put him in a hammer lock from underneath. You can throw the arm overhead, put him in a crossing talon. You can pick the leg up, take him down. If you're a grappler, you can roll into these things. So there's a lot of different options there. Whole point of that being, don't let them get this cinched on if you can avoid it. Now, when we do grip of death, one of the first things we're doing is shooting that knee into that leg, right? We want to cancel out that leg as we come in and hit to the groin and to the kidney. All right. Now you want to keep this pressure on. That's really important because as you're going to track up the back, and don't do this big wide looping thing, track up the back, right? It's a you know at the top of the shoulders is the head. So why disengage, track up the back, and then you got a lot of targets for that. Keep that pressure on. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that is to have your knee bent here, right? While having your neck cranked back, all right? Which is your perfect setup for this palm heel, to turn and hit that palm heel. All of that is to say, don't let them get here, but borrow the force of the attack to come in and wrap. What I wanted you to think about is, can you do anything before you even need to get to here? Think about lock, grab, occupy that arm, right? Through the arm, lock it. Now you got both hands occupied. You got their left hand locked, you got their right hand locked, which leaves you a free hand to be able to start doing other things. If you want to grapple, you can take them to the ground. If you want to stand up and just punch them in the face, you got that too. So it's just a little variation on, and some things to think about on that entry from grip of death. How am I doing on time? Am I over? That's probably about 5 minutes for me. So I'll turn that back to you, Mr. Dan. Thank you so much, everyone. Great to see everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saul. I know Brian's brother. He's a big dude. You don't want him getting a hold of you. kind of big brother that forces little brother to take karate class. All right, our next presenter. You guys know him. You guys love him. Michael Miller, super popular guy. Before I bring him on, I just want to plug. If you guys didn't see, I guess it was Thursday, Frank Soto did an interview with Michael Miller. Excellent interview. I recommend you guys all check it out. But anyway, we can hear from him right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Miller.
Hey, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Good to have you guys again. Okay, so I'm going to get right to it. So let's think about nature of the attack. You know, in American Kenpo, when we have attacks, we need to talk about what's the nature of the attack. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody walks up and grabs you, well, what are they doing? Are they grabbing you and pushing into you? Are they grabbing you and pulling you? You know, if they put you in a bear hug, are they trying to lift you up? Are they trying to sweep and take you down? So always understand that. I look at this is, you know, grip of death. You know, if someone's putting you in a headlock, right? Think of the nature of the attack, what they can do. You know, you have and obviously this is left flank, right arm headlock. And they can put you in a headlock and just walk forward, right? Or they can put you in a headlock, they can crank you. In this case, the way I teach this is the nature of the attack is they're cranking you. So you're going to just go with them and get your first move down. And it's important on that first move that you have that what we call an offset sandwich with your hammer fist. They're not going to be like this. One's going to be coming down, one's going to be coming up. You want that offset sandwich as you settle into your close kneel stance, okay? So think about that first. I'll run through this the way that I teach it. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little better. So that first move, they're cranking me. So I'm going to borrow their force, and I'm going to go right on that offset sandwich. Now I'll back up a little bit. Now, just like Mr. Saul said, track up the body. You want to read the body like Braille, because at this point you can't see. If they have a tight headlock in, you can't see. Your face is right into their body. So you have to be able to feel, which is a good lesson in and of itself. I was a bouncer for several years. If something happened, and I'll tell you just a quick story. One time I had some clown that had a whole can of Copenhagen dip in his lip. I'm talking his lip was sticking out about 3 inches. And he's like all excited talking to me. And you know how these people talk. Next thing you know, a damn snuff grain came flying out and it hit me in the eyeball. And I'll tell you what, that frickin' burned. And I should have done an inward block, but I couldn't see it. I mean, it's a little tiny, like a grain of salt. It hit me right in the eyeball, and I couldn't see. But in my mind, I'm thinking, if I had to take somebody out right now, I'm going to have to rely on touch. Okay, obviously hearing, but I'm going to have to rely on touch. So in this case, after you fire this, you can't see, so you got to read them like Braille. Like really go up and around, and of course, stay anchored. Now, I agree with Mr. Donfro. I don't like putting my fingers near people's mouths. Okay? Now, where I'm from, most people have 2 or 3 teeth. All right, true story. But they still have 2 or 3 teeth. So I still don't want to have my fingers near there because they'll take that one tooth they have and probably bite my finger off. So I'm with Mr. Donfro. You can go underneath it, as Mr. Donfro said, or you can, if they have hair, you can grab their hair, all that good stuff. But for the sake of the ideal phase, I'll go to the philtrum under the nose. And again, it's a good move, but you got to be careful with the mouth. You're going to anchor, very important. Takes their height zone away, okay? And then obviously you're going through with that palm strike. Now the way just like Mr. Donfro, the way I teach it is with a front kick, a rear leg front snapping ball kick, and then I teach it as a pull drag coming out. So you do the kick and you let it pull you out. Because the way I teach the match of that is an obscure sword. An obscure sword, I do the other kick and the other pull drag. Okay, so that just shows the match of the way I teach it. The other thing I want to bring out here, the way I teach this technique, it's not like the form. In the form, okay, you chamber this hand, right? You do a chamber. Well, you don't want to chamber that hand in the technique because your face is open, especially your eyeballs. Because remember, there's 2 ways to get hit. All right, intentionally or by accident. And in this case, they might slice my eyeball by accident when I hit them in the jaw. All right, so the way I do it is, let me see, maybe if I go this way, maybe you'll see it a little better. I go here, and then when you do this little crank here, I keep my hand up like a crane beak kind of thing, so that their hand I use it as a tracking device, so that their hand can just kind of guide right through without hitting me in the eyeballs. So when I'm here, this is where I'm at. Hand stays up. Then I fire the kick and come out. Okay? The other thing to bring out here, we have a lot of hand-foot accents and a lot of foot-hand accents. What that means is as soon as the foot leads, you follow with the hand, or as soon as the hand leads, you follow with the foot. In this case, I use my hand, and then I follow it with my foot. Thrusting salute, I use my foot, and I follow it with my hand. So you're going to have that all over the place. It's like in kickboxing. I'm going to lead off with some punches, and I'm going to finish it with some kicks. Or I'm going to start with a kick and finish it with some punches. All right, so just a lot of little things to think about. The last thing I just want to tell you guys, when it comes to street reality stuff here, you put me in a headlock like that, I'm going to bite you. Because you invited my face right into you. And of course, we want to make sure we tuck our chin, and we want to make sure that we bring our chin to our shoulder, because that will help us to not get choked out or anything. Which means your lips, okay, are basically right on the ribs, basically. And it doesn't have to be ribs. Could be nipple, who knows, if you get lucky. Or it could be just anything. Just bite it. I'll tell you what, I put you in a headlock and you bite me right here, I'll let you go. Real simple. I promise you. All right? So anyway, that's probably my time. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you got something from that. We have a great show for the rest of the show, so keep paying attention. Back to you, Brother Mac.
I don't know about you guys, but I totally believe that Michael would bite somebody.
All right.
Good stuff, my man. Good stuff. All right, we're going coast to coast. We go from Miller in Pennsylvania over to the undisclosed location somewhere in Los Angeles with Angelo.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Glad you could make it again to this wonderful, wonderful day in our dojo outdoors. Today we're going to be doing Grip of Death. There's a little bit of noise back here. I hope you guys can still hear me. We got a ball game going on. Special thank you to Anto, my buddy, and also to Busto for joining us today. Okay, Grip of Death, guys. Grip of Death. I love this technique. It has a lot of stuff into it, but I want to throw something out on you. If you do Grip of Death, we all learned the technique. So if some beach bum comes walking around here dressed up like a badass, there he is. He's going to attack you, see? So when he gets you in a headlock, so let's do it the basic way. So right arm gets the headlock. So he grabs and he takes you in. What I want to do is use that momentum and go for it. He comes in. I want to manage gravity and I want to hit the groin and the kidney at the same time. Now, notice the straddle. This is the old way that I taught, but what's wrong with that? Groin shot is wide open. So when you do this, dude, I want to control the height, width, and depth of the guy so he can't sit up as I hit. So I'm going to strike in this position. From here, I like to cross my fingers, stick them underneath his nose, pull him back, and then from this position, there's the heel pump and the knee. Okay? That's the traditional way. I find it myself have a hard time just because of the height difference. So the difference that I make is that when the guy comes in to get me, he'll take me, I'll get the knee check in, and I'll hit here. From here, I will go for the nose. Oh. But from here, I will use what they call a cervical compression downward. So I'm going to pull him down. Okay, so he's not going to go backwards, he's going to go down. But in the technique, we do this, and we shoot an angular, just leave it there. We shoot an angular heel palm right up this way. But if I do this technique here, boom, I grab him, and I pull him down, and I shoot upward heel palm, he's not going to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my angle of incidence, and I'm going to change something. He's going to come in, I'm going to grab, I'm going to hit, I'm going to do this and pull him down. When I pull down, I have a free arm, I'm going to rotate and drop elbow right off the chest. Okay? Drop it this way. From there, I like the ending of taking this leg out, taking out the leg, and now he's there. Okay? Now, there's several ways to chop a tree down. You can grab the top of the tree and pull it down, or you can hit the bottom out and drop it, or you can do both at the same time. So what I'm doing is, I check here, I'm pulling up, dropping down. So as his upper body momentum is going down, I'm going to take the leg out and sweep this way and come in for the kill. Okay? Now, one thing I want to ask you guys is, in this technique, it's the guy's right arm is the strong arm, right? He's grabbing you, okay? So it's the strong side. But in short form 3, we do the left side of the technique. Why? There's a lot of reasons for that. I'll let you guys, I'm sure you all have a different reason for that. But think about this. If he grabs me with his right arm and he starts to punch me, boom, that's okay. But what if he's right-handed and he's got a really powerful arm? He's going to grab me with his left hand and start beating me this way. So I recommend that you learn this technique on both sides, because as he comes in here this way, boom, I'm going to choke that, I'm going to grab. I can do the same thing on this side, taking the leg and strip the same way. So you can use those on both sides. Now we're going to throw one little thing in here. If I got AJ with my left hand, and I'm going to get him in the headlock, and I'm going to start beating him, he's going to go ahead and take it.
Next thing what you're going to do, obviously, is control the choke. And then from here to stop that, as that punches come in, he may get one, but stick that hand out and try to catch that arm as it's coming. Okay? From there, all we're going to do, stick that leg out and roll backwards. And I don't want to take pops down, but we'd be coming down and rolling over that leg. Okay? And then we'll let you guys take the ground game from there.
We'll let Anto and Busto show us the ground game, okay? So the things that I want to emphasize on this technique is when you're doing that is marriage of gravity coming through here. So you're stepping using that momentum, boom, reaching up. Cervical pressure going down, dropping an elbow down this way from here, shooting the knee up, taking a sweep and dropping the guy, and then that, do whatever you want. So that's kind of my twist on the technique.
Other than that, just, watch out for those punches coming in. They're not just going to stand there. It's not a very good choking position. You're not going to get a full choke there. So they're probably going to be doing what Pops was saying is punching. Hit that arm. Try to get that arm, sweep them back over that leg.
All right, guys, throwing it back to you, Dan Mick. That's our 2 cents worth of this technique, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Didn't that beach bum look a little familiar?
That what?
Thank you very much, Angelo and AJ. Awesome as always. So we go from PA to California, right back to PA, Mr. Mark Lawler.
Greetings, everyone. How are you today? Good to see you. Let me start by saying hello to John Busto. Hey, John, good to see you here. Enjoyed the time up in Long Island a couple years ago. Please say hi to everybody for me up there. And Anto, hello. We got to meet once in Las Vegas. Please say hi to Mr. Speakman for me. I believe I owe him a phone call, actually. So welcome aboard, you guys. Glad you're here with us. All right, so grip of death. I'm going to talk about some variations of grip of death that I like. But the first thing I want to discuss is that first extension where, oh, by the way, I am without my partner, Gail, today. Those of you who know her, she's a nurse and is pulling a 12-hour shift today, couldn't be with me. And her specialty is IVs and PICC lines. So when she works, she's wearing a whole freaking spacesuit because of the COVID thing. It's pretty terrible, although the numbers here are going way down, so that's a good thing. Anyway, back to what I was going to say about that first extension, okay? Let's not forget, okay, when we're behind and we sweep that first leg out, we're trying to drag them so they're in a position like this. So when you cut back in with that reverse bow stance, you're ripping out their ligaments. I don't know if you guys have worked this in class on a person and noticed that's a very precarious position to get your leg buckled from. Okay, so, notice that next time you work on that. In some cases, you can even pick up the leg, hold them up in the air if you can actually kick up their leg. And that makes it particularly more awful. Okay, now, from the base technique, the way I like to do this myself, from our initial hits here and coming up, we're going to move into a corkscrew or a back knuckle, looping overhead back knuckle. We're going to check and rip through with an elbow. Okay, so what we're doing is we're sticking twirling hammers on the grip of death. Technique for an outside left for a headlock. So we're here. In some cases, it's hard to get this, okay? Let's say you got difficulty getting over the shoulder. This typically can come in for you. Good hard shifting to that elbow to the ribs. We're going to turn and smash them in the sternum, heart, wherever with the hammer fist. Now from here, you can just end this with a front kick, or something that's interesting that you might want to do as far as we're talking about extensions and things like that. From this, I can wrap and hammer. Let me back up a little. Drive in with a palm strike. Okay, push his head back onto a knee and let him fall. As I've said repeatedly here, the ground hits harder than you and I, right? So you can just, this is the extension from Crashing Wings, by the way, those of you who know it. So if I can say 1, 2, I can wrap here, smash him, get him by the face and just chuck him back onto my knee, let him fall, or I can take the 2 steps out. I can come with the crescent kick, spin, rear kick, stomp, if you want to keep it to the actual script. Okay, now with the whole punching idea, Brian covered this first, and then Angelo and AJ. I couldn't agree more. You're in peril of getting eating that other hand. So, you can hook with the back hand onto their elbow, anchor your elbow, and get nice control on that arm to keep them from punching you. And you can work with one hand here. And if you can't shift to get up, you can come into the eyes even at this point, okay? If you have difficulty moving because the guy's got a death grip on you. The other thing, if it's imminent that you're going to get hit right in the face, cover with this hand. Hey, listen, sometimes you get hit, right? There's no guarantee you're not going to take one. So let's say you get out to here like, oh crap, I'm going to get punched. Cover up. you know, and then work from there, however you can. Now, I have to laugh because of the whole bite thing. Mike mentioned. That actually happened to me. I was in a bit of a Donnybrook. We won't tell you how many years ago it was, on a field with a bunch of other guys. I grabbed this guy in a headlock and he bit me. And he didn't bite me in the ribs, he bit me in the bicep. And I let go immediately. I had this horseshoe-shaped wound on my bicep, and stopped everything. Bite works for a lot of things, by the way, in jiu-jitsu, triangle chokes, things like that. People don't tell you that, but it tends to stop that stuff. It's not supposed to work, but it does. I actually saw the guy later on. He became a Mr. Delaware. Saw him at an outdoor festival. He was as big as a house. We walked past each other and kind of just looked at each other. It's kind of funny. Now, last thing I'll talk about here is the heel pick that AJ alluded to. Look, sometimes you're smashed down, the guy becomes top heavy, okay? So he's light back here. So when I did jiu-jitsu, which I did for a number of years, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, we call this a heel pick, right? So you sit on your butt cheek and you roll the guy over your leg. You'll excuse me if I don't roll. The Rothman Institute to replace both my hips might get upset. And you come up in the mount. Now, here's the problem. The guy will still be holding on to the headlock a lot of times. So you're mounted, he's got you in a headlock. This is where we use a frame. All right, so the harder he pulls you, the harder he gets this edge of your wrist into his neck, okay? When he pops, we can swing over into the armbar, or we can just control at the mount, throw our hooks in and commence to putting a whipping on him from the mount. So that's where one of the places you would go anyway from the heel pick. Let's see. I could keep going, but I suspect I'm probably over my time. So thanks, everybody. Good to see everybody. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawler. Excellent as always, and much respect to Gail. All right, so you guys may notice we have somebody missing today. Monty Newar is not available. He's off in Cleveland. I wonder if he was at the draft. I don't know. Anyway, go Birds. But anyway, Monty's in Cleveland, so he won't be on the show. But he is going to be videoing his take on Grip of Death and putting it up online. Where is he going to be putting it up online? Well, the Brotherhood members only page. That's where. Now, how can you see that? Well, if you're not already a member, we have a lot of new members here. We have Suzanne just joined a couple weeks ago. She's in here. Mad respect. You know, if you want to be a member of the Brotherhood, just go to brotherhoodkenpo.com. You go to brotherhoodkenpo.com and you just click on the join button. It's $50 a year. It's not a lot. You get access to our members only page in addition to your membership packet where you will get your welcome letter, your patch, and your ID card laminated. So anyway, if you guys are interested, once again, it's brotherhoodkenpo.com. $50 a year. You can hit me up. I'll get an announcement on my phone. I can get you on there before the end of the show, and then you'll be ready for Monty when he goes up. And on top of that, we have, I don't know what the number is, lots of videos, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. Monty just put up a couple with Alex Perez this week, you know, so there's always videos going up there, new videos, and there's just a library of old videos for about 5 years going back. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely way cool. All right, another piece of business that I want to talk about, not business, but unfortunately, you know, we lost another good one. We lost another good one to this pandemic, unfortunately. Mike Cassidy. Mike Cassidy was a fixture at Steve Arsenault's school for many, many years. And if you knew Mike Cassidy, to know Mike Cassidy was to love Mike Cassidy. The guy had such a great smile. It was so genuine. He was always in a great mood. You know, he was a Marine. He was a hero cop. Look him up. He was always the guy that was running towards trouble, you know. And like I said a bunch of times, Mike Cassidy might be the toughest guy I ever met. I'll tell you more about that later. He might be the toughest guy I ever met, you know, but that goes to show you how tough COVID is. So I'm going to miss you, pal. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. This was a really sad one. And there is a fundraiser to help his family. I know Mike has a daughter, and he leaves his wife as well. So it's just, if you go to PayPal, go to Beth Soares, BETHSOARES at MSN, and you can donate to his family. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and dedicate this show to Mike Cassidy. If you know him, you know what I'm talking about. He was a great guy. Great guy. All right. Moving right along, it is my turn. It's my turn for Grip of Death. So, so I'll tell you what, in honor of Anto, who's here today, I will say that if you want to see an excellent demonstration of Grip of Death, well, you know, the greatest movie of all time, The Perfect Weapon, Jeff Speakman, he's in the Crack Pit Club. You guys know what I'm talking about. He's in the Crack Pit Club. Right? I remember 15 years old sitting in that movie theater. We were there first weekend. We knew this movie was coming. We couldn't wait to see it. Ed Parker made all the fun. This is going to be great. And then I saw the Crack Pit Club. I was like, I got to go to a place like that. But anyway, so Jeff's in the Crack Pit Club, and someone comes up and goes to grab him in a headlock. And just like Dan was saying, Brian was saying, I mean, everybody's been saying it the whole time, is that instead of having this dude cranking in on you, Jeff does it great, man. The guy flies up, puts him in a headlock, and he rides it forward and hits before he goes into the technique. And that's the way that technique is supposed to go. You don't want the guy to crank down on you. You want to use his momentum of pulling you forward to ride into that right there. Now, I do this all the time. I'm going to adjust my camera so you can see me lengthwise, okay? But, yeah, so when this dude hits you, what you want to do is you want to ride it in, okay? There's a saying that we use that in self-defense, you want to follow the path of least resistance, okay? A good example of that is parting wings, all right? In parting wings, the dude pushes you. What's our general tendency, okay? Our general tendency when somebody pushes you is to kind of butt him back and be like, you can't move me. You know, you're going to kind of try and alpha this dude. All right, you're going into it. All you're doing is making matters worse for yourself. When that dude pushes you, instead of resisting, go back with it. All right? This dude's expecting your resistance. When you go back with it, it's going to take him off balance. Same thing. This guy's expecting to grab you and crank down on you in Grip of Death. All right? So when he goes for it, you go where he wants you to go before he's ready for you to be there. That's going to help interrupt his balance. If that doesn't interrupt his balance, the knee, like everybody's been talking about in the back leg, will interrupt his balance. And the combination of the two going into there. Now, what I like to talk about with this is that this helps to create a discussion because all of our techniques are related. You know, all of our techniques are, I mean, they're not every single technique is related to every other technique, but there's always an intertwining underlying lesson. Okay, so we have techniques like Grip of Death where the dude grabs and then you go with it. All right. Another one I think about with that is thrusting prongs. Right, thrusting prongs isn't the dude has you in a bear hug and you're totally locked up and then you drop back. Thrusting prongs is the dude's going to grab and then you drop back and hit him. Okay, get him to start to commit, and then when he's weak, then you can hit him. Same thing with Grip of Death. This dude wants to clamp down. I step in, I throw him off. Another one is crashing wings. Okay, crashing wings is really, really hard to pull off if the dude's already in and cranking down on you. Okay, but if the guy's reaching in, he's coming to get you, and you recognize that that's happening, you drop those elbows down and it prevents the grab. Now, of course, we're all Kenpo instructors, so immediately the first question is, yeah, well, what if? I tell my students, you are not allowed to ask what if yet, but soon you'll be able to answer what if on your own. But what if is in there. So if we just take crashing wings, right? Crashing wings, the guy goes to grab, right? You stop him. But what if he does grab? What do? You do spiraling twig, right? Beat him up, weaken the grip, and then go from there. That's the idea. So Grip of Death is one of these techniques that opens up that discussion and allows you to relate to a lot of other techniques. So that first move, I stress so much, that first move, when that guy grabs, you got to ride with it. Now, the only other thing I'll say about Grip of Death, because I didn't really talk about Grip of Death, but we're all talking about it, so I want to add a little something different. This next move, I like to track straight up the back. A lot of times what people do is they disengage and then they come back in. But what happens is when you get up top, you're going to be reaching everywhere trying to find the nose or the chin or whatever. Keep the hand on the back and just ride it straight up. Bam. And then you can fit underneath the chin. If the guy's got long hair, you can pull the ponytail. You know, you can go underneath the nose, whatever. There. And then when you shift, be careful not to shift this knee out, because you are going to be throwing this dude. And when you throw this dude, if you turn your body, now he's going to go over your leg like this. You ever been doing Kenpo and you're trying to beat somebody up? Not beat, but you know what I mean, in class, right? You're doing your technique and you end up falling down with them and you feel dumb, right? Okay, this is the kind of stuff that happens when you allow your knee to flare out. Now they fall, they buckle you out. You don't want that to happen in the street. That's why we train, so we understand this stuff. Keep the knee in there. Shift, nice forward bow. Keep that knee bent, and then bam, you can fire from there. All right, that's my time. Thank you very much. All right, so what do? We went Massachusetts, PA, California, PA. Now we're going the other way, all the way to Spain. All the way to Spain. I love this guy. I got to say it. What's he going to say about the forums? Let's see. Mr. Lorenzo.
Hello everybody. Hello, John. Hello, the both. It's a pleasure to be with you here. And Anto, remember, I stay one day in Pasadena, visit you. Maybe the next time we can take something together, okay? So I will try to explain a couple of things, okay? And with this technique. This time is my student, Lara, is one of my students that they help me, okay? It's more beautiful than me, but this is normal, it's normal. So we are doing, the first thing that we need to check is, Mr. Miller tells us, you need to take the chip and turn, okay? This is the first thing that we need to do. If I grab, turn, and turn, okay? If you can move, it's perfect, okay? If not, no problem. When I do the technique, I go with the power, okay? Now it's very easy for the people to find, no? Okay? This is long two. This is the same move on long two. This is easy. He go with me. I do close knee, okay? But if I do close knee, sometimes I don't have the range, okay? So maybe I turn a lot more to hit correctly, okay? When I hit groin and knee, okay? And now we need, I do this technique. I am doing trap. I follow it here. I am doing this move. But if I do this without people, when I do this, check one, and then the reverse move. This is the outward block. And then when you do the reverse move, and you hit, how far is this? It's very easy. Long one, out, part block, and hit, okay? Out, part block, and hit. If you do the same mechanic, you do the lock correctly, okay? You hit, okay. I hit, and then go up, and turn, okay? And then I do the reverse move. Okay, and the second move, okay? So, check, if you do the outward block correctly, you do this move, and then you lock this correctly, okay? And Dan and Fro explained us, when you put the hand here, he can use the mouth, okay? It's for that when I do this, I hit here, I turn the face, and now I put my thumb here. And then I do this. I crush the nose with the mouth. And one finger here, one here, another one in the eyes. Okay? Yes? And then I do long one. Okay? And it's very important, as Mr. Miller tells us, you need to put the hand here, because if not, they can grab me. Okay? When I do this, I check, and I put the hand here. If I feel something that's bad, I put the hand out. Okay? Yes? This is very easy to find the basis in the form, but try all the time to feel where is that account. Okay? No, I don't like to do this and then this. I do this way. I do this, I follow it, I hit, I grab, I crash, I hit another time. Okay? If for the people that he like the theory in the form, you need to think in why in the sword 3 you do the form of the opposite side. Okay? It's very funny to find the relationship of the technique and the what if and the theory of the form. Okay? So thinking why we do this in the other side in the sword 3. Okay? So this is done. Okay? Okay, done. I come to you. I'm finished.
Excellent as always, my friend. Why do you do short 3 on the left? Or why do you do short 3 on the left side? Why do you do grip of death on the left side and short 3?
Something to thinking. But all the time we need to check the feet. You need to check the feet. You need to check the hand. And now you have the solution. Ciao, my friend.
All right, let me pull you up here again. Say that again. You need to what?
Check your feet and check your hand. If you are the student of your feet, you are the solution. And if you study your hand, you have the solution. So 3, this is one side. This is your move with your feet, the 7 step. And you need to do the 7 step, okay? If you do the grab with this hand, you need to have the grab with this hand, okay? So if you are doing in one technique the grab with this back, you are doing the lock with the left hand, you do the lock with the right hand, okay? You do one side, another side. And if you have your punch in this way, you have one in this way, you have one in this way, okay? And if you check the step, you can find the opposite side with the other side. Okay, it's very easy. Only we need to think to play.
Well, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much, my friend. I make no secret about the fact that I'm a huge fan of the forms. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't tearing it up on the tournament scene with forms. That wasn't my forte. But I do love that analytical aspect of it, which is why I appreciate the bonus material from Lorenzo, because we got some analytical short 3. Thank you very much. All right. Since we left the country, all right, we're not in Spain, or we're not in the United States. We just went to Spain. So why don't we fly up north over to see one of my favorite people, the King of Canada, Mr. Steve Stewart.
We're in lockdown. I was writing the notes from Lorenzo. I'm still writing, Lorenzo.
Hey, my man.
I'm breaking free.
I just have this. It's ready. It's ready. It's ready. Go.
It's ready.
Yes,
okay.
It's ready. Go.
Okay. All right. I'll bring out one of my good mates. This is Mr. Terry Tate. He hasn't been in it before, but I had to get somebody different, you know. So I couldn't find any notes on grip of destruction, so I'm going to go with grip of death. So up in Canada, you know how nice we are. So if they attack me from this side, I know they're not a Canadian. Because if I say, go to the other side, please, only a Canadian would do that. If they don't, I know they're American or a foreigner. So from grip and death, a couple of things I want to go over, just the mechanics of it. The couple of points that you're hitting just below the belly button is an insertion point you'd want to hit at the same time at the back, because they kind of match there at the L4, L5 junction, which affects the sciatic nerve, the muscles, and the lower extremities. So if I'm hitting this one here below the belly button and that one at the same time, just touching that, not hitting it like this. Now he feels that, but if I use a little two-way action and there's nothing up my sleeve, I'm not even touching him yet. I'm just demonstrating this. Two-way action this way, boom. See where he buckles? Yes. And then he leaves, and now I need somebody else. So now, if I'm hitting the one behind the knee, and just because I'm down on my knee, doesn't mean I'm gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Maybe I lost a bet. All right. So right at the popliteal fossa, where the knee bends, that's where you're going to be coming in there with the calf, but touching that point. If I just take my knuckle, you can feel that. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be hitting, if he puts me in that attempted, and like Mr. Miller and the other ones are saying, if they get you to a good grip, you're probably in big trouble. So as he's coming in, maybe he just launches. We had a conversation, I said up yours, I go to walk away, and then he just jumps at me and launches me. Again, I'm going to ride the wave like riders to the storm. But when I touch that one at the same time, I'm going to be hitting that at the same time. You okay? Yep. So yeah, you can go to the growing, but up here in Canada, they're wearing a lot of masks and a lot of cups now because of COVID. It's affecting Laura. He's got one on. You see that? So just because I'm not going to always go there, allowing margin for error. So I might tap, but at the same time I'm tapping, I'm hitting both at the same time, and I'm using two-way action. So I might be in a closed kneel position this way here, strike tapping that way here. So I'm going to braille up the back, anchoring the back leg and striking serpent's head. And as I roll that back, I grab under the chin. Like Angelo was saying, you can come down at the elbow, you can come down with the hammer. I like to go to the xiphoid process just below that at the notch, and that way there, you're certainly going to get. Are you okay? I'm good. I'm okay. I hurt my hand a bit, but I'm okay, Dan. Okay, so again, as they're coming in, a couple of things. Again, I'm not going to have time to tuck the chin. I mean, that's all great in the ideal phase, but what if? So again, attempted, if he comes from on my flank and just all of a sudden rides me this way, I want to tap, double strike, at the same time, braille, and drive that. Now, from that position there, once I've anchored up, I drive that, I take my left, tap into the leg, and in the knee, if I want to tap into the medial malleolus, you bring your leg up, just above the ankle, that's where I'm going to be touching. And if I just push on that with my thumb, just pushing on that, that's the draw. I learned that from Professor Wally J. So bring it back up. So once I've done this, if I want to do the partial extension, I can tap that, bring that back up here. I can certainly just sweep this way and drive them back down that way, tapping on the inside here and catching them right up here. A couple insertion points here where the blood pressure regulates. If I just tap in there, you can see how that can affect them using two-way action. Another thing you can do from a what-if perspective, if I come this way and all of a sudden I go there, he grabs me and stops my arm. Position there. I can just take my thumb, drive that into that clavicle, sternoid collectoid point there, and drive him right to the ground. So again, he didn't know I was going to do that. This is the what if I go and he just grabs me and stops me. See how he stops me? I just take my thumb, drive that thumb into there. Another thing you can do, kind of like Harry Potter, in this position here, is just touch on the third eye. Just above the forehead, you can drive them right to the ground. That works from this position. It can work from that position as well. Okay? That's how you get it. That's how you get ahead in life. So just to recap again, from attempting, if he gets me in a really good grip, I'm probably in trouble. No matter what I do, he's going to start pounding on me, drilling me, whatever. And I'm in trouble. and I'll have to do something else for a living. So, well, I do anyway. So again, a couple of things, two-way action, below the belly button, back in here at the lumbar region, 4-5, hitting them at the same time. You get a great reaction. Two-way action as always. Railing at the back to keep the pressure there. Anchoring it as always, retracting it back. Striking zones, you know, you can adjust the weapon to the target, etc. And I talked about the popliteal fossa, hollow of the knee, and also the medial malleolus just above that. Striking zones for the takedown, and makes it so much easier. So I'm Steve Stewart, and I approve this message. Back to you, Dan.
Mr. Stewart, I'm a little concerned. I want you to take it easy and make sure you ice that hand of yours.
I know. It's really sore.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Steve Stewart. All right, moving right along. We're going to send it on down to Maryland. When he's not busy taking pictures of me falling off a chair and laughing at me, he's kicking butt with Kenpo. My man, Mr. Sabor Chan.
Hey, y'all. Salute. Hope you guys are doing well. I have a visitor again. Mr. Xavier drove all the way from Washington, D.C. to hang out with us today since he was here last time and he liked it so much. Now he's here again. All right, so the technique is dance of, not dance of death. It's the other death, right? Oosh. Okay, so grip of death. The name of the technique there says it all, okay? The guy's coming in and get you in a headlock. If you can't get out of it, you're dead. Simple as that, okay? So when somebody grab you, obviously the first, in this case, is that they're trying to choke out your oxygen, okay? Your airway, so we need to protect that. So as he grabs, okay, I'll go slow first. As he comes in, this is my Disneyland version, meaning simple, easy. If everything goes well, it works the way it's supposed to. All right, so he comes in and grabs. Once you start to feel this grab, you want to roll and go with them, okay? And bury, excuse me a second, you want to bury your face literally right into his chest to protect your neck, okay? So chin to chest and head to chest. Very important. All right, so from here, we check his leg, double hammer, grab, pull, heel palm, and cover out, okay? Now, the clearing of the hands, two ways that I do this. From here, as I grab, pull, I can just let him slide off, but when somebody falls backward, they have a tendency to grab onto something, so let's not do that. What I like to do is after I heel palm, I sneak my left hand underneath and then shove him off and stay on the inside of his body, okay? So let's take a look at the technique step by step before we go into anything else. Number one, common mistake is that people go with him, but you're doing this, you're bending down. Now, if he continue to pull, you're gonna lose your balance right here by bending down. So it's important to keep your back somewhat straight. So as I go here, my chin is down, but my back is trying to be as straight as I can. The next thing we want to look at is the checking of the leg. So make sure you're in a wide kneel and your knee is on the outside of his leg. So let's face this way so they can see. So if you see my shin right here checking on the outside, most common mistake is that people check on the inside. That's just going to invite a heel kick or a buckle like that, and you're going to be in trouble. So you want to check right here. If I want to end this fight right now, all I need to do is drop straight down, breaking the ankle and the foot, okay? And he should let go. If you feel pressure right here, he's not going to hold on, all right? So this check is very important, and you learn that in crashing wings and so on as well. So this is a good way to do this technique. From behind, let's see if we can do it this way. So as I step, as you can see, my shin is on the outside and not in the back of his knee, okay? So that's a common mistake that people make. So make sure that you guys are on the outside. Next thing is the grabbing and pulling. okay? Track the body, okay? So this is working contouring concept or tracking, right? So you go up, and if you feel hair, you grab hair. If you don't feel hair, you can grab his ears, you can hook his eyes, okay? You can go to the bridge of the nose, like some instructor already mentioned, but again, be aware that this end has teeth, okay? So just be careful. You can also drop down low and crunch onto the throat, okay? So those are some options that you have. So you have throat, maybe bridge of the nose, but instead of using 2 fingers, I use the whole edge of the hand right here so that I can come up this way, stay clear of his hand. But remember, he still have another hand. What if he grabbed my hand with the other hand and put it in his mouth? Okay, all right, so that's bad news as well. Okay, so we want to reach up, grab the eyes, make sure you stay clear of the mouth, and crank back. Okay, so how do we crank back? Common mistake is that people pull straight back. If you pull straight back, he feels the pain. He's gonna start stepping, and we end up in the fight again. Okay, so once you pull here, you want to pull straight down by bringing your elbow to your ribs. Okay, so straight down that way, so that if he steps, he's gonna just fall on his back, which is what we want to do anyway. In Kenpo, more of the advanced technique, we have a lot of takedowns. That is our signal to us that, hey, always finish whenever you can, always finish with your opponent on the ground. Not necessarily that we have to go to the ground with them, but finish the guy while he, take him down to the ground. So in this case, the guy comes in, okay, he starts to crank, we hit, we peel him off, and we hit right here, okay, with that heel palm, okay? You could draw that hand back, load it up into an elbow, and as you can see, let's move this way a little bit. As you shoot the heel palm, bring it back to an elbow, and now you're on the underside, okay? So I'm hooking up his arm, shoot the knee, take him down to the ground, bam, and punch him to the side of the neck. Okay, let's do it on this side, maybe they can see better. All right, so I'll go slow. He comes in. We go grip of that back, grab, pull, boom, elbow, grab, knee, take down. Okay, pow. Okay, let's have you turn this way. All right, this guy's a jiu-jitsu dude and a Kenpo dude, so he's used to be dragging around, right? All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm using the inside of my arm to scoop him up, stretch him out, and I come down and punch on him, okay? How many times? As many as you can. Okay, another thing that's important, get your knee right on top of him to make sure that he cannot roll towards me. Now, we have a ground fight. I know nothing about ground fighting. Well, little. He knows a lot. So the last thing I want to do is to give him the advantage. So I contain him here, snap the arm, boom, punch, okay? Since this dude is a law enforcement, he's used to this also, we can show you another position. See where my foot is right here? I'm going to kick him right in the back of the head, bam, okay? With my right knee, I'm going to knee him hard, right on the shoulder blade, right here. Boom, that flips him over. I hook him up, drop my knee on him. Now we're in a restrained position, where in his case would be cuff him. In my case, I would have grabbed his hair and bam, 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 right on the ground, make him eat dirt. Okay, so that's another variation of grip of death that you can do. Sometime when he comes in, we go here, we hit hard, and the arm flies out. Okay, in this case, whoops, you can escape through the back door, and you can go straight into the grasp of death. Bam, and then you can take him back this way. All right, now same thing. I move up, contain, 1, 2, up and over, and now we're in the same position. Grab the head, 1, 2, 3, and down. Or you just sit on him right here, take his belt off and hog tie him. All right. Okay. So that is a couple of variations you can play with. Another thing that you can do, if you compare, grip of death is a push and pull technique, as you know. If you were to compare this to glancing salute, for example, they're the same technique, okay? So in grip of death, we have two motion coming this way. Grab, pull, heel palm. Glancing salute, we have two inward motion, looks opposite of each other. It is opposite of each other, but both are coming inside. So this is two inward. There's your push, okay? So you push and pull right here, and then you have your knee. So right here is the same move as grip of death. And on top of that, if you take a look at escape from death, you see the end of grip of death grafted with glancing salute. Okay, so you see here, there's your grip of death, and there your glancing salute. Right there. Okay, so that's a couple of things to look at. Maybe you didn't think of before, or maybe you did. So in either case, it was fun. Thank you for joining us today. Salute. Back to you, Dan. Thank you, Xavier.
Thank you very much, Sabora, and thank you very much, Xavier. Awesome as always. All right. Our next presenter, a gentleman that I've known for quite a few years now. However, I've never had the opportunity to watch John Busto teach. I'm so excited for this. And the reason why I'm so excited for this is that, if you want to have an example of the type of person John Busto is, just take a look at his students. His school is such an amazing community full of so many wonderful people. Okay, so many wonderful people and talented martial artists. And they're led by this man, Mr. John Busto. Two of them with him today, Mr. Lou Zalo, Mr. Mike Zambardini, two awesome guys. So I can't wait to watch Mr. John Busto.
Hey, how's it going, guys? So we also have Miss Judy, and of course, Mr. Sandler is here as well.
Mr. Sandler, awesome.
All right, thank you guys so much for having me. So just some of the ideas of grip of death that I have, and a lot of stuff, great stuff was covered already. So we have the famous mic right over here. So grip of death, instead of just thinking of the guy coming across behind you and grabbing you, we can think of he's throwing two punches, 1, 2, and as we're punching him, he's coming across and grabbing me. So now, like what was covered already in grip of death, he's pulling you and we're going with it. And then grasp of death is more he's pulling us forward this way. So from this angle, we step around. In grip of death, we do the check, we do the offset sandwich. If we just punch him in the groin, what reaction are we going to get from him? He's just going to pull tighter, keeps on pulling tighter. So that's why it's important to hit from behind, so you get that reaction of him arching a little bit. So now the left hand comes up, we're contouring that was talked about. I don't want to go to one side or the other. So I go to one side, he's going to turn away or turn this way. Okay, then we anchor, pull back, heel palm. And as he's going back, we're going to sweep this leg. So to set up a good sweep is for his body to go back. If I keep him straight like this, and I try to sweep, he might not go. So I make him arch back. As he's arching back, I'm going to have my knee and then my foot sweep at the same time. Then we're going to do a little adjustment with that right foot. We're going to sweep out the leg. We're going to kick, and we're going to cross. You can throw a back kick or a hamstring. Okay, so that's basically the extension. Now we're going to talk about a couple of other things. Before the headlock gets on, let's say he is grabbing onto me and he's starting to throw a punch. What's talked about already is what we want to do is take our thumb and our index finger and keep it together to stop that. We call that a monkey grip. So we want to get a monkey grip and grab on behind his hand. So we're holding him here. At this point, our base is really important. We're going to push our hip into him a little bit. So if Mike pulls down like this, I can, if you just bring the camera up a little bit, I can actually hold Mike up like this. So Mike is my new bling bling. Just like this, like a chain. Okay, so I step back. If he pulls down hard, it's very hard for him to pull down. He doesn't have a lot of power from this angle. Now, if that goes wrong, he's pulling me in, that's when we're going to grip of death. Okay, so now there's a couple of different ideas of it. What if I put on the headlock onto him? What can I do? And what can he do when he has me down on the ground? So Mike comes across here and I strike him, but that doesn't have a lot of effect. And he takes me down to the ground. So I'm forced down to the ground this way. What we want to do before, like Mark talked about, is a frame. I want to frame his face. Then I want to walk my legs back a little bit. So he's going to be falling, and then throw my legs over and then pull his arm back. I could put him in an arm lock from there. Okay, so we switch positions. We're standing up, and I have Mike in the headlock already. I could grab him. I could do a hip throw down to the ground. I'm sure you guys enjoyed that from my being thrown. Now, this is interesting here. When we go a headlock on the ground, in Kenpo, we call it give techniques or handshakes because it gives you so many opportunities. Same thing on the ground. When you have someone in the headlock on the ground, I don't really suggest you do this type of headlock unless you're experienced in it. I'll show you a couple of things that you could do. The hand around the head could grab onto the knee. That locks him in a little bit better. I could track the leg, get an arm bar. If I have Mike like this and he knows what he's doing, or he's just squirming a lot, this is going to happen. He's going to have me. So what I suggest is when you're down on the ground, is take this arm, hook the other arm. Now I'm like this. So it's not a headlock, but it's a little bit better position because it's harder for him to escape. Now from here is where I could still do my arm bar, come up here and have my arm bar from that position. Now another thing, when we're standing up and Mike has me in the headlock, so we're in this position, what I could do, we talked about the hand going underneath the nose or underneath the jaw, but take the other hand and put it behind his back. Let's say before the grip is here or it's not as tight, I could turn him around. He gives me a headlock and I give him a guillotine or a neck crank. And the way we put this one on is this would be a guillotine where his head is underneath my arm. But a face crank is when his head is in my stomach. I grab on and I do what's called a figure four and I crank him up this way. So that's pretty cool from this position. Just a short technique. He has me in the headlock. I grab here, take my other hand, put it behind the back, turn him. Now I have him in the guillotine, which is locking horns, or face crank. So that's basically some of the ideas. One other idea is when we're on the ground and Mike doesn't have me, is when we do that frame, never let the person sit on you. So I'm supporting them. So what I need to do is do that shrimp to the side where he falls down. When he falls down, I push against his head. I move back a little bit. I throw the leg over the head. I get the arm bar. And there's many different variations from this. Another variation is when Mike grabs me in the headlock. And same idea, maybe he is throwing punches. So what I need to do is protect from this position. Now from here, I can't come under here. Or if he has me in the headlock and I can't get this framing action, what I like to do is his head's down low, is grab onto here, just in case those punches are coming, my hand's gonna be up. I turn to the side, I hook his leg, we turn under this way, and then we're on top. Okay, and then what relates to that, last thing, is from the headlock, we step around, grip of death, we did the hammer fist, we come back here, we're starting to do the heel palm, I can reverse it back to an arm bar, or from this position, what was talked about already, as we push down here, we could sweep and we could change the technique, but still use the same movements. So instead of going all the way behind him, we attack this leg. We still face the same position. Because what we did in the extension was here, sweep, we went behind. Now we're just attacking that one leg with both sweeps as we do in destructive fans. and also flashing wings. Okay, thanks, guys. Fan club.
Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Mr. Busto. And I have to say thank you because Mike Z over there is a buddy of mine, and I think after today my new nickname for him is going to be Bling Bling. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, our final presenter of the day. Now, I have to tell you, I've said this before. One thing that is super duper cool about this here roundtable is I get to meet all sorts of people, you know, and Anto and I just met for the first time an hour ago. His reputation absolutely precedes him. But I will share this story. When I teach in my studio, you know, I have the TV set up and we always throw videos up. I'll be like, all right, this is, you know, Larry Tatum doing short 3, or this is Huck doing long form 3. But there's this one Jeff Speakman technique line that's up there, you know, and it's the one where at the end the guy gets busted in the stomach and he's rolling around. It's a great one. I've showed it to my students a million times. But in that, there's one guy that really stands out. Super duper fast, super duper crisp. And then I find out that it's this gentleman, Mr. Anto. So Anto, I apologize if I don't pronounce your name properly, but it is Mr. Anto Parseghian.
Very good. Parseghian. Yep, pretty good. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the invitation. I want to thank the Brotherhood organization for bringing this on. So I'm here today, Anto Parseghian, and my brother, Berj Parseghian. We started training together with Mr. Speakman back in 1993 is when we started. So we're here at the Pasadena studio. We used to live up in Lake Arrowhead. That's where we started studying with Master Speakman. And the technique line you watch was up there, 5,500 feet above sea level. Beautiful up in the mountains. And that's where we started training, and that's where everything came through. And then we have Mr. Hall as well, one of my students. Mr. Hall, say hello to everybody as well. So he's here with us. So today we're going to run through Grip of Death. And we have a little adjustment in our system we call Grip of the Serpent. But before I do that, I just want to, I picked the technique, what I'm going to do today, because of Mr. Collado. So he's expecting me to do something on the ground. I don't know why, but I'm going to do that. So I'm going to show something from the ground. So I took Grip of the Serpent is what we call it, so Grip of Death. And also another brown belt technique that we have, which is a sequence, a combat model, which is called Destructive Knee, Destructive Claws, and Destructive Cross. So today I'm going to kind of touch on that combat model and put them together for you guys and give you a little taste of Kenpo 5.0, which I would say it's a way of seamlessly bringing in the ground game into Kenpo 5.0, where we're taking the Kenpo principles and applying it on the floor, on the ground. So it's not that, you know, some days we're doing Kenpo, some days we're doing Jiu-Jitsu. No, not at all. But if we have to go down to the ground, we go down and we use the Kenpo principles on the ground. Would I choose to, if I was standing up and doing my techniques, I wouldn't choose to go to the ground. But if I do, we have a solution. We learn the game. So I'm a baby in the ground fighting art. So I've been only, 15 years now. But I'm studying that and getting better all the time. But here is what I have to share with all of you. So, Berj, would you come up, please? So the technique, Grip of Death. Headlock coming in from the rear, and everybody touched on a lot of the important parts here. And as he's trying to crank my neck or get me in a choke, he might have experience, he might not have experience. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck in my chin, turn my head in, so I protect my airway. You know, so I'm going to, if I turn into him, it might smell funny, but you know, he's my little brother. He smells a little, but it's okay. But he smells funny, it's okay. Turn in, and if you're closer to bite whatever you need to. You do whatever it takes to get yourself out of the situation. But as soon as I step, I go with that momentum. I turn in and protect myself. My leg's going to buckle as at the same time I'm going to strike groin and kidney, looking for a reaction, of course, of his head popping up and his body straightening up. So then I can contour up the body and go up to control. And here with the chin, I go up to the chin and control. And I do watch my fingers, so I don't have my fingers wrapped around the mouth, because we do a lot of ground techniques where we are doing ground stuff and working with the mouth and even pinning into the gum in Kenpo 5.0. And it's pretty cool getting in and digging your fingernails into the gums. It's a pretty neat thing to be able to do if you have to. but you have to do it correctly, but not in this situation. So from here, my fingers are safe and away from the mouth as I hook with my thumb underneath and push up and control and strike. So from this position here, what I'm going to do is almost going into the extension of the technique, sweeping the leg, opening him up over here. And left hand is controlling so I know where he is. From here, I'm going to strike down into the kidney, putting some weight on his leg so he can't use his legs to kick me. So that's the point. From here, I'm going to split off and go into a ground takedown technique that we have in 5-0, which is this destructive claws or the destructive knee sequence, which is a combat model of what if this happens, you go here, what if that happens, you go there, what if that happens, you go there. So when I'm here, when I go down, I'm going to keep that pressure on the leg so I have it checked. I'm going to slide and roll with the foot going in front and pin his foot to the floor so he can't pick it up. And as I pin his foot to the floor, maybe we should go at this angle right here. So if I do pin that foot to the floor, you guys can see fine, good. I'm going to take my lats and push to the back as I drive him forward, controlling his foot as I do that. And I'm going to roll and I'm going to check with an elbow strike to his spine, whatever I can hit to cause some damage. From here, the first sequence that we have of this model, the destructive knee model, we roll on top, and I'm going to control here with my feet, hook into his legs, hands going to strike to the neck and go down and try to grab his clothes, whatever I can grab. I'm tucked in, of course, to protect myself just in case anything's coming in. Left hand's going underneath, and I'm going to grab his arm and I'm going to control. So let's turn 90 degrees this way. So I'm here. From here, with one move, I'm going to slide forward here. My right knee is on the lower part of his spine. And from here, I'm going to pull up, and there's my break. So then, yeah, whatever you want to do, stomp and go on, have some fun. That's the ending of that sequence. So now I'm going to pick it up, showing the combat models of where we can split off. And the second technique is the destructive claws. So again, I go down for the takedown on the same position. When I go to take his back and I go here to control, he pushes off. So then I have to roll on my back and hook and control him as I go back and I roll. His momentum is going to the left. So what I'm going to do is my right hand's going to grab his chin and I'm going to anchor and pull back so I can stop his momentum, open his throat, so then I can go for a choke and roll him off, and I'm out and I'm gone. So that's the destructive claw sequence, taking the what if for the combat model into the second stage. And then the third one is the destructive cross. This is what I really want to share with you guys because I love this technique. And so from this position here, once I strike and take down, I'm going to roll across, and when I try to take his back and mount, what he's going to do is he's going to get me in a headlock. So we have, this is called grip of death squared. So we're going to have grip of death twice. So as I'm rolling here, trying to go on top, and he's going to get me in a headlock. Right, so now let's hit the center again. So as I roll over to do that technique and he gets me in that headlock, now from here I'm going to deal with this situation. One, I'm going to check his lower hip here. My left knee, I'm going to put on the opposite side of his hip or his back. Over here, my right hand's going to do a heel palm strike to the face. This is how we do ground stuff in Kenpo 5-0, right? Striking, Kenpo, beautiful on the ground while we're doing ground fighting. I'm going to brace him. And I'm going to take this knee. I'm going to over-exaggerate so you guys can see my foot coming back, and my knee is going to strike to the back of his head. Then I'm going to reverse my steps because my goal is I want my left hand free so then I can go in and break out of this grasp that he has me in. So what I'm going to do is my right knee is going to go take the place of my left knee. My left knee is going to come up where my hand is, and I'm going to tuck it in and pin him. My left hand is free. Now I can have some fun. I still want to break out of this. I have my elbow, forearm, whatever I can dig into his face. I'm going to go between his arms, push up to break that grasp. And then from this position here, my right hand's going to do an inside out circle, rolling inside between him and I, coming to the over his shoulder, And from here, I'm going to take a forearm strike. Strike to the back of his head, move his head forward. My left hand's going to take his right arm and push it away so I can get my right arm here to trap his tricep, his bicep, and control it. Now I have him in the crucifix position. And then this is where I go home. This is where you have some fun until your hand starts hurting, right? So then from this position, we stand up. Left leg takes an adjustment step. I'm going to control the arm. And I'm going to take my right shin and use it to roll him counterclockwise, so I can take his ribs and bring it lower to the ground and expose his left rib cage. I'm going to take my left knee and use that guided collision, pin him to the floor, and here's your knee into the ribs. From here, roll, break the, attack the elbow joint again, kick to the face and dislocate, pull, sweep the arm. If he's still there, and you cover out and you're up. So this is a little cool thing I wanted to share with you guys. So the sequence of destructive knee into with grip of death. So calling this grip of death squared. So any questions for me or anything?
No. I think we got you. That was excellent. All right, let me try it again. Parseghian. Is that correct?
That is correct. Just like the football coach. This way, Parseghian, right?
Aha. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Parseghian and crew. Excellent stuff. We really appreciate you guys coming on. All right, so now we come to the final portion of our show, a section we like to call Pass the Mic. So if I can ask the presenters today to go ahead and unmute your mic, we're just going to go around 30 seconds. Final thoughts. Starting up in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, Mr. Dan Donfro.
Thanks, Dan, and thanks everybody that was viewing today. I think it was a great show. I actually learned quite a few things, some variations. A little battery there. Am I still in? Yep. Variations on grip of death. I want to thank my Ukis, Miss Laura, Mr. Brightman, and also congratulations to Brightman on getting his earning his third-degree black belt a couple of weeks ago. So salute to him. And to the guests, Mr. Anto, Mr. Busto, that was some great stuff. Really enjoyed watching it. And, I just want to give a final shout out to Mike Cassidy. Great guy. Like you said, Dan, super tough guy. One of my favorite sparring partners. We used to have, hours long sparring matches. So Mike Cassidy, this one was for you.
Thank you, Mr. Donfro. Going to throw it over to Brian Saw.
What's up, everybody? Another great show. Awesome. It was great to see everybody. Good instruction. All of my brothers, our guest instructors, Mr. Busto and Mr. Anto. Thank you. That was awesome. A lot of great information there. I learned a lot of things. So, as Dan said, if you're not already part of us, come and join us, for $50 a year, $5 a month. I think I counted at one point, we have close to 500 videos up on the members only page. So for $50 a year, that is a ton of information. Come and join us. We have some fun. So it was great to see everyone. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to our guests, and back to you, Dan.
All righty. Thank you very much, Mr. Saul. We're going to throw it over to Michael Miller.
Hey, everybody. Great work. Everything was great. Great time as always. Thank you guys. To those of you who just were checking us out, we appreciate it. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you brought your notebook. It's always good to have a notebook when you guys are watching all this stuff. So good stuff. Thank you, Mr. Busto. Thank you, Mr. Parseghian. Thank you guys for being a part of this. You guys were great, and as we knew you would be. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody. Salute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. We're going to throw it over to Angelo.
Hey, guys. First off, I want to thank you guys for everything. Anto, you never cease to amaze me, man. You knocked it out of the park. Busto, same thing. You guys are awesome. Thanks for sharing all your experience with us. I want to shout out to Mr. Cassidy. I did have the privilege of meeting him when I was at Donfro's last year. or the year before at one of the events, and I did get to meet him. So, condolences to the family and to everybody, all his friends. But thank you guys. And I rounded up the beach bum here, and he wants to say goodbye also.
Good stuff today, guys. We're gonna work for all that ground stuff for sure. Awesome stuff.
Excellent, guys. Thanks for sharing again. And thank you for all the support. Can't wait to get on the mat with you guys. Let's go live. Let's do this live. All right. Toss the bye.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm going to throw it over to Mark Lawler.
Hey, what a great day today. What a great example of Kenpo brotherhood and sisterhood. Great to see everybody out here sharing all the different perspectives. John Busto, thank you. Anto, great seeing you guys and what you had to offer today. This is a really great day again. Look forward to seeing you guys down the road. And yeah, if you're not with the brotherhood, look at joining up with us. Okay, so back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawler. I'm going to throw it over to me. Mr. Martin, who's in here, I just sent you an invite to the members only page. Thank you for your membership. Greatly appreciate it. But all right, so I want to tell a quick story. Late 90s, Steve Arsenault camp. There was a gentleman who had come up all the way from South America. He was a Trejo student, and he was testing for, his 5th degree black belt. Yes. And nobody knew him. So we picked an orange belt to be his uke, and we proceeded to watch this test like this. Oh my God. You know those tests where the guy just really beats up his uke? He beat the daylights out of his uke. I mean, from across the room, you can hear him doing techniques, blasting the dude in the cup. You can hear him pop, punch him in the face, beating this guy up, and the guy took it like a champ. So now you fast forward about 8-9 years, I'm back at another Steve Arsenault camp. We're on the mat, and Steve says to me in the middle of class, he goes, "Hey, man, you remember that test?" Right in the middle of class, everybody's watching. "You remember that test when that guy beat up that uke?" I'm like, yeah, absolutely. How can I forget? He points over to Mike Cassidy, who's a 2nd degree black belt, and goes, "That's that orange belt. He never quit," and that's just the type of guy that Mike was. I said it before, he had such a great smile. Mike Cassidy had the greatest smile. It was so genuine. He was always a happy guy and a tough son of a gun. He was a hero cop. Look him up. He was a hero cop. He was a Marine, and he was my friend. So I'm going to miss you, pal. I'm going to miss you. Again, if you'd like to support the family, you can just go to bethsoares@msn.com on PayPal. That's BETHSOARES@msn.com and throw a little support to the Cassidy family. All right. That's my time. We're going to send it over to, where is he? I don't see him. Where are you, Lorenzo? I don't see Lorenzo anywhere. There he is.
Hello.
Lorenzo!
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much to Anto and John. This is a very nice and very, very, very nice and magnificent show that both show us. Okay, and only one thing for my friend Stuart. Okay, I take note about your class. You can see all that I take note. 1 paper, 2 paper, 3 paper, 4 paper, 5 paper. Okay. So I appreciated your class. Okay. This is magnificent. Okay. Okay. And we are ready for the next show. Thank you so much for all presenter. And I am very happy to be part of the family. Okay. So we are ready for the next time. Ciao.
And for a rebuttal, Mr. Steve Stewart.
Hey, Lorenzo, whose notes did you take?
I take the noise, the she, here another one, the knee.
That's
right.
from our guests. And to our guests, that was tremendous. 2 guests.
I am checking you.
Are you? You only took half a page of mine. The rest you took from them. But that's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Dan, look at this, Dan.
Oh.
and Mark
Oh, yeah, that's the
and
demo.
Brian Saul, 1996.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
I wasn't there. Put it away.
The Chippendales.
Now Steve Arsenal was there because
My twins.
They
They
look
look like
hair.
massage therapists.
oh, we had that after at Solid Gold.
Oh my God. Steve, what year was that? 96?
96.
Wow.
That's when we were just kids. Well, some of us.
Hard or soft, man?
I know, right? But to everybody out there, it was fantastic to our guests again. Outstanding. Brotherhood is $50 US a year. That's 200 Canadian. I'm kidding. If you get your vaccination, it's the same $50. But it was tremendous. It's great being with all these guys who I've known for so many years. A lot of them. A tremendous amount of information I take from everybody, including Lorenzo. And so thank you for having me a part of this. Love you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stewart. We're going to throw it over to John Busto.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. You know, being part of it is great. The art that we all love and be able to share it during these times, bring us together. Some of you guys I've met, some of you I haven't. Such a great time. I want to thank Mr. Sandler, my instructor. I want to thank Judy, Mike for beating me up, or me beating him up, and Sweet Lou over here. So it was a really great time. Enjoyed doing it. I learned a lot. Just techniques that you've done for such a long period of time, and all the little changes of it, the different ideas. Great. And I did meet Mike once at a seminar, and my condolences to his family. He was a great guy. I was actually his partner in one seminar.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Busto and Mr. Sandler and Judy and Lou and Bling Bling. All right, let's throw it over to Anto.
Thank you very much. Learned a lot today, as every day, and appreciate all of you. I've met a lot of you in person, and it's always an honor to meet a Kenpo friend. And I see a lot. John Lorenzo from Spain stopped by here at the studio one day, just walked in, and I was like, hey, who's this guy? So it's pretty cool to get that, and the doors are wide open for everybody. Anytime to come by. We're here in Pasadena. Love to meet all of you in person. Our floor is yours, so you're welcome to be here with us. It'll be a great honor for me to have any guests to come here at my school. Also, one more thing I want to share with all of you, since we're on the subject and we're all, into moving Kenpo forward and studying and doing that. We have seminars coming up soon. We have a tournament and seminar. We do our annual Vegas camp in Las Vegas every year in person, but this year will be virtual. So we already started the competition part of it, and we have 3 months to record and turn in competition, be it forms, weapons, self-defense, any of that, and then it'll be judged, and then the results will be announced at during the seminars, end of July 20 something. Information is out there, so check it out. And then we have 6 seminars going on, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. You guys would love to have all of you there and jump in virtually to the seminars and enjoy some of the Kenpo 5.0 instructors and other guests. So again, it's an honor, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A bunch of us are going to be out there in California in August. We'll have to come pay you a visit.
Anytime.
Thank you very much. Our last word goes to Samora.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for hopping in and joining us this Saturday afternoon. And it is lovely outside as well. Thank you to Xavier for coming in all the way from DC. And what a pleasure it was to have Mr. Anto and Mr. Busto together. Anto Busto. That's the name I'm giving you guys. It was awesome. Great materials, great presentation. Thank you. And it was awesome having you both join us today. As it hasn't been said enough, if you are not a member of the Brotherhood, please look us up online at brotherhoodkenpo.com and join our team. Also, big salute to Mike Cassidy. He's definitely a good guy. About 2 years ago, I think was the last time I saw him and had a chance to talk with him a little bit. Sad, but prayers to his family and friends. Anyway, guys, thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you on our next month's show, which would be the first Saturday of June. Now, yes, first Saturday of June. So stay tuned. Thank you. Salute.
Hey, Sabor, is there something happening the second Saturday of June?
Oh yes, second Saturday of June. It's going to be our very first in-person seminar / virtual seminar right here at my beautiful school, about 30 minutes away from Baltimore, Maryland. Lots of things to do, but the class is going to be great. I mean, right now we just scheduled for a seminar on Saturday, but I'm pretty sure Angelo and Dan's going to squeeze in early on Friday, and we're going to do something fun on Friday night too. Usually what we do is weapons and special tactics training on Friday night, and then Kenpo seminar on Saturday. However, space is limited due to the pandemic, so first come, first serve. So everything will be available on the website for registration within the next few days. So check back, and it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. So hope some of you guys will make it out here. That's it.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you again for a wonderful show. We will see you next month.